Santorini is the supermodel of the Greek islands, a head-turner whose face is instantly recognizable around the world. Multicolored cliffs soar out of a sea-drowned volcanic crater, topped by whitewashed buildings, with its reputation for dazzling panoramas, romantic sunsets and volcanic sand beaches. It's hardly surprising Santorini features on so many travelers' bucket lists. If you're planning to join the crowd, here's your guide to Santorini to ensure your trip is one to remember. Peak travel time to Santorini is July and August, when temperatures and prices peak, and hotels, viewpoints and beaches are packed with tourists. Cruise ships deposit thousands of day trippers to join the holidaying throngs. For better or worse, the island can feel like a crowded party. For those in the know, the shoulder seasons from late April to June and September to October are the best months to visit Santorini. Things are marginally quieter at the caldera edge, and considerably quieter on the east coast. From May to October, the weather is reliably sunny, and swimming is possible. Sea temperatures are more favorable in fall compared to spring. All that said, don't discount a winter break, when crowds are scarce and prices low while the scenery is still breathtaking. However, note that not all tourist places are open in winter. Tourism season kicks off in earnest from Greek Orthodox Easter approximately mid-April. Santorini can be expensive to visit, especially when you compare it to the lesser-hyped Greek islands, so your Santorini travel itinerary will depend on how far your budget stretches and, in turn, this is highly dependent on what time of year you visit. You need at least 3 days in Santorini to experience the best of the island, the caldera edge views, a boat tour, some beach activity, and a dose of history and wine tasting too. Frequent ferries and high-speed catamarans link Santorini with Athens' main port of Piraeus, Crete and various Cycladic islands. Check open seas for ferry timetables. Santorini Airport has year-round flight connections with Athens and direct summertime European connections. On the island, bus services are decent, if crowded in summer. Lots of companies offer cars, mopeds and ATV four-wheeler bikes to rent. Walking is by far the best way to experience the caldera edge clifftop towns. The top activity on Santorini is to walk the caldera edge and admire the gobsmacking views. Walks in and around Fyra are spectacular, particularly heading north to Firostefani and Imirovigli along the caldera edge pathway. Keep walking and you'll eventually reach Oya, a popular pastime, but be aware that it's about 6.5 miles 5 km in total from Fyra to Oya, and a good 4-hour walk, one way. Carry water and sunscreen. Nature's handiwork is on display from any waterfront seat come sundown, but prime sunset viewing on Santorini is in Oya, where thousands of tourists flock to admire nightfall. Santorini's intrigue reaches deep into the past, with the fascinating site of Akrotiri displaying a Minoan city destroyed by the volcanic eruption of 1613 BC. In Fyra, the impressive Museum of Prehistoric Thera helps piece together the story of ancient Akrotiri. Santorini's local flavors are in the spotlight these days, and deservedly so. The island's lauded wines are its crisp dry whites and the amber-colored, unfortified dessert wine known as Vinsanto. Both are made from the indigenous grape variety, Assyrtiko. About a dozen local vineyards host tastings, usually with a small charge, and some offer food, with scenery and local produce combining to great effect. Start your investigations at Santowines or join a wine tour. You might not think of yourself as a day tour kind of traveler, but in Santorini, that might change. Any tour your heart desires can be organized, and there are dozens of agencies ready to help with winery visits, archaeology tours, sunset watching and more. The most popular option is a cruise, and the classic itinerary takes in the caldera's volcanic islands of Ni Kamini and Palea Kamini, including a stop at the former's crater and the latter's hot springs. Maybe an interesting fact about this video is that you can interact with me, leaving a comment with what you liked or not. And also a like will help me. But if you want to be up to date with all my videos, you need to hit that subscribe button. Don't be shy and let's see the rest of the video. Accommodation will be your biggest expense on the island. If you can afford it, first-timers should stay on the caldera edge to experience the full wow factor. Fira, Stefani, Imirovigli and Oya have hotels and villas with whitewashed interiors, terraces and infinity pools that have inspired marriage proposals, high-fashion photo shoots and many Instagram posts. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of places to stay in these view-blessed locales for budget-conscious travelers. Caldera view accommodations are expensive, and they're in hot demand. There are decent mid-range options in Fira and Stefani, less so in Imirovigli and Oya, away from front-row panoramas of the caldera. There's also a great hostel and a campground with rooms on the outskirts of Fira. If you're more interested in a beach break or activities, stay in Parissa or Kamari and catch the bus into Fira. The advantage of this is some respite from the camera-toting caldera crowds, plus more reasonable prices. Food options span the spectrum, from budget gyros to super swank fine dining. The best activities are free. Follow a walking trail, watch the sunset. There are good ways to spend time without it burning a hole in your pocket. Rent a sunlounger on the sand, visit a museum to investigate storied ruins. A day tour is always a hit. Sightsee from a boat or visit local wineries. A visit to ancient Akrotiri costs 16 euros. Santorini's main tourism is focused on the caldera edge cliff tops in the island's west, with large clusters of whitewashed buildings nesting at dizzying heights, spilling down cliff sides and offering gasp-inducing views from land or sea. Fira, the island's busy capital, sprawls north into villages called Stefani, about a 15-minute walk from Fira, and Imirovigli, the highest point of the caldera edge, about a 30-minute walk from Fira. A path running through these villages is lined with upmarket hotels, restaurant terraces and endless photo opportunities. These three conjoined settlements draw most visitors, together with the stunning and upmarket village of Oya in Santorini's north. There's a growing number of hotels in the island's south, offering caldera views looking north and northeast. Akrotiri's views come cheaper than Oya's, but it's a fair way from the action of Fira. Santorini's east coast is lesser known than the celebrated, elevated west coast. Here, the caldera edge heights have slopped down to sea level, and volcanic sand beaches and resorts offer a very different drawcard. East Coast resorts such as Kamari and Parissa have a more traditional and more affordable island holiday appeal, sunlounger-filled beaches, water sports, and taverna-lined promenades. The East Coast's beaches are lined with black sand. On the South Coast, there's a string of beaches famed for their multicolored sand. The dramatic red beach is a traveler favorite. The island's interior is dotted with vineyards and traditional villages that let you see beyond the tourist hustle. Make a stop in Pyrgos for great eats and a wander through charming backstreets. This is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it will help me if you leave a comment to tell me if you would like to go in this place. Don't forget to like, share with your friends, and if you want to hear more about other places, hit that subscribe button.